For the organization, I loved how you and Miss Tiffany were able to go around and you guys had students, you really did differentiate the instruction. You had students who struggled with writing and tracking. And so, with one student in particular, I saw you guys write what needed to be written down on the whiteboard. And every time that student finished a word, you guys would make sure that it was erased so that he would track where he was.
Yes.
I also loved this setup that you had and how you had the picture and then how you have the definition and you give them this amount of space. And I loved when I have a picture of it also, when you on the board had you drew the pictures and said, over here I'm going to draw my picture and here where the lines are, I'm going to write my definition. And you modeled it for them beautifully. So I felt like it was very organized. I felt like the students were set up to be extremely successful, and I felt like you guys were very aware of the needs in the classroom.
Yes.
You had one student in particular who was struggling a little bit. How do you feel you did with handling that student?
I think overall, I did okay there, just because I know that the more I push him, the more frustrated he's gonna get, and he would then act out in the classroom more than what he already did. And so I gave him options and the safe place for him to use, and then it becomes his choice. What is he gonna choose to do? And I remind him to make good choices. So it's his decision whether he's gonna come back and join us as a group, which eventually he did come back and join us as a group, or is he gonna walk out of the classroom or act out in the classroom?
One thing that I loved that I saw was that it never took away from your teaching and it never took away from the other students. So even if he was a distraction, his distraction was to himself and it was clearly an avoidant behavior. And you did a really good job of distinguishing that and saying, this is what we're doing right now. These are the options you have. And once he realized that you were not going to feed in to his behaviors and you continued to move along with the class and the class continued to move along, he joined in and he volunteered and he participated. And I thought that you handled that really well. Sometimes staff members, teachers can get distracted and focused on the behavior and get into a tit for tat.
Yes.
You did not. And it really showed that you don't, because your students knew that the learning was going to continue.
Yes.
So it was very clear that the engagement piece was there. They were engaged the whole time. You did amazing prompting and cueing with the, 1, 2, eyes on you. They knew all the protocols in the classroom. It was very clear that, honestly, it was one of the best SDC classrooms I've walked into with the classroom management.